All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the playbook of the ultra wealthy. And look, it's not just about how they make money, it's about how they keep it for generations. So let's get right into it. We're talking about their financial fortress, this thing called the Trust LLC Foundation Triangle.
This quote, it really nails the whole mindset, doesn't it? Making the money, that's almost the easy part. But keeping it safe from all the things that can go wrong, that is the real game. And honestly, this idea is the foundation for everything we're about to unpack.
So, the dangers to your wealth. You might be asking yourself, why do I need all this? Why the complexity? Well, it's because the second you build something of real value, a whole lot of things can and will try to take a piece of it. Let's dig into the why you'd even need a fortress in the first place.
And these threats, man, they are no joke. Think about it. Lawsuits can pop up out of the blue. Creditors start circling the moment things get tough. And if you don't plan ahead, guess who your biggest heir might be? Yep, Uncle Sam, thanks to massive estate taxes. And that's not even mentioning the internal stuff, like messy inheritance fights that can just shred a family's legacy. We're talking about problems that can make millions just disappear.
So you can't just solve this with one single trick. It's not a special bank account or some magic document. No, the real solution, the one the super rich rely on, is a system. It's a fortress, really, built from three powerful interlocking parts. All right, let's get into the fortress itself. We're talking about three pillars. I'm going to break down each one for you so you can see exactly how it works and what its job is in this whole strategy. First, you've got the trust. This is basically the king of the castle. Think of it as the ultimate owner of everything. It's a legal box, and you put your most important assets in the box, like your companies, your real estate. And here's the magic trick. Once they're in the trust, they're not technically in your name anymore. Why does that matter? Well, it means when you pass away, everything can go to your heirs instantly and privately. You get to skip that whole public, expensive, and super slow process called probate court. Okay, next up is the LLC, the Limited Liability Company. If the trust is the king, the LLC is your frontline soldier. It's the operator. It's out there in the world doing business. So, what happens if the business gets sued? The lawsuit hits the LLC and stops dead in its tracks. It's a firewall. The risk is contained, protecting all your personal stuff, your house, your savings, everything else you've tucked away in the trust. And pillar number 3 is the foundation. This thing does two amazing jobs at once. It's your legacy builder, but it's also a powerful tax shield. See, you can donate money to your own foundation and get a big tax deduction for it. That lowers your tax bill. But more importantly, it lets you get serious about your charity work, creating a real lasting impact for the things you truly care about.
And right there, that's the genius of it. It's not about one of these things. It's about how they all work together. The LLC takes the hits, the trust protects the ownership, the foundation handles your legacy and your tax bill. It's like you get total ironclad protection, but you're still the one calling all the shots. You have complete control.
Okay, so that's the what. Now, you might be thinking this sounds really complicated, but the way you build it is actually pretty straightforward. So how is this triangle built? Let's walk through the steps. Here's the blueprint, step by step. 1. You set up your LLC to run your business and wall off that risk. 2. You create your trust. This trust is now going to become the official owner of the LLC and your other big assets. 3, and listen, this is so important. You have to actually fund the trust. You have to legally move your assets into it. An empty trust does nothing. It's just paper. And finally, step 4. You add a private foundation to handle your giving and really optimize your taxes. All right, theory is one thing, but let's make this real. Why does this structure actually work? Let's run through an example. We'll take a successful business and see what happens when it's put inside this fortress and faces those threats we mentioned earlier. So let's say you've got a business and it's doing great. We're talking $2 million a year in income. That's awesome, right? But it also puts a giant target on your back. Okay, check this out. Here's the fortress in action. The LLC. It's running the $2 million a year business. A lawsuit comes along, Bam, it hits the LLC and stops there. Your personal life is untouched. The trust? It owns the LLC. So if something happens to you, ownership passes on smoothly. No courts, no drama. And the foundation? You're donating to it every year, which means your tax burden goes way down. See? Every single piece is doing its job, protecting you from a different angle.
Now, this is huge. You have to build this thing right. We have to talk about avoiding the common mistakes, because a lot of people mess this up and leave huge, gaping holes in their defense.
Okay, these are the two big ones where it all falls apart. The number one mistake, creating a trust but never funding it. An empty trust is literally a useless shell. You have to legally title your assets in the trust's name. The second big mistake, owning your LLC personally. If you do that, you just blew up the whole firewall. The entire point is for the trust to own the LLC, not you. That's what creates the separation. Getting these two things right is everything. Which brings us right back to where we started. Making money, that's step one. But the real flex, the mark of true financial savvy, is keeping it safe, keeping it private, and doing it all in a tax-efficient way. That's how you play the long game. So, I'll leave you with this one question. Think about your own financial legacy. Right now, is it a house of cards, just waiting for a gust of wind to knock it all over? Or are you building a fortress, something that's designed to last? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.